Hello and welcome to today's March 9th Daily News Report. If you're a subscribed member of my community, then welcome back. You watch this channel each day because I tell you what's really going on in Washington, D.C. with President Biden and the U.S. economy, so let's jump right in. I'd like to thank today's video broadcast sponsor, Policy Genius, and I'll tell you how to save money with them on homeowners insurance, renters insurance, car insurance, and life insurance later in today's video. Also, I noticed this morning that YouTube randomly sent out one of my old videos from like 2 years ago, thanking people for getting my best-selling book, Taming Wall Street. You guys are welcome to get a copy of that. It has great information. I live what I teach in that book, but I did not send that out, so I'm not really sure why it went out. Okay, now according to The Hill, living in a Democrat-governed state might help you out. Governors in Democrat-run states are handing out stimulus checks in order to help people one more time before their election. For example, in Wisconsin, you can get a $150 stimulus check. In Maine, you can get a $500 stimulus check. In Kansas, you can get a $250 tax credit, but it's essentially a stimulus check. And in Michigan, you can get a $400 tax rebate for owning a car during the pandemic, but in reality, Governor Whitmer is just giving you a stimulus check. Minnesota's governor is considering using all the surplus cash at the state level to do a $350 to $400 stimulus check or $700 or higher if you're married, but he just wants to see how things are going later in the year before he gets too loose with the checkbook. Most Republican states say they will just continue to help people out in the areas they believe people need the most help, and they will use the money from the $1.9 trillion stimulus bill. A political science professor from the University of California said it best. He said, there's no greater way to say I love you from a governor than by giving voters free money. Now, most Republican states are looking for ways to lower your taxes versus giving you a free check. That's just kind of the difference in thinking between the two parties. So again, if you are struggling, and I know many of you are, please look into the state programs. As I did my research this morning, these states are absolutely flush with cash, so much so that the federal government is going to be taking some of it back. Now, I have more to tell you, but let me first tell you about some ways to save some money with today's video sponsor. I want to thank today's video sponsor, Policy Genius. Policy Genius is America's leading online insurance marketplace. They can help you save money today on life insurance by getting you the best price. During the last 2 years, I realized how many people only have a life insurance policy through their work. This can be detrimental for two reasons. First, you could lose your job, and with it, there goes your life insurance policy. Second, most people only have life insurance coverage through their work, and it's usually not enough. It doesn't take care of your family to replace your income, and sometimes it barely covers the funeral. So if you have family that depends on you or your income, then you need life insurance. And in most cases, a policy is more affordable than you would even guess. Now, did you know you could save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius? So head to policygenius.com/Stephen Gardner to get your life insurance quotes and see how much you could save today. All right, now let's get back to today's news update. I've done financial coaching for about 15 years now, and saving money on different insurance areas in your life is a great way to save some money. So please consider using Policy Genius. They're an amazing company. Okay, now in some good news, right? Let's share some good news, right? The federal government announced this morning that they've come to a verbal agreement on a $1.5 trillion spending bill to fund the federal government through September. If this passes, we can stop worrying about government shutdown, missed checks, food assistance, and more for about 6 months. Lawmakers say they couldn't wait any longer to pass this bill because it contains vital money for the people of Ukraine. Funny how it rarely contains vital money for the American people, but I'm on a tangent. The package will fund the government through the end of September, and will send $14 billion to Ukraine. Biden wanted $6 billion. The Senate wanted 10, but thanks to Republican Mitch McConnell, he said, let's just go ahead and round it up to 14 billion and get this money out the door to Ukraine ASAP. The bill will also pull back some old stimulus funds not being used and repurpose them for new coronavirus relief funds. The amount being pulled back will be right around $15 billion. The House will vote sometime today on this new bill, and the Senate will vote sometime before Friday at midnight when the government is scheduled to run out of money. Republican leader John Thune said this bill will pass with strong bipartisan support as lawmakers from both sides see the urgency of helping Ukraine. Again, I wish they saw some urgency for helping the people here at the United States, but I'm off on another tangent. Democrats say they are especially proud of the $280 million in affordable housing vouchers they got approved. They say it makes them happy to help so many people get on government housing help. Republican lawmakers say they are proud of the $780 billion they got for the Defense Department and military, which is an 11% increase from last time. If for some reason this bill doesn't pass, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said he will immediately file for an extension bill to get the government through March 15th. So basically they'll buy themselves 4 days. Several Democrat governors banded together to write a letter to Congress asking for the federal fuel tax of 18 cents per gallon to be suspended until gas prices come back down. Now, I find it interesting that these governors aren't talking about temporarily halting their state fuel tax, which in most cases is much higher than the federal fuel tax. For example, in Utah, the state fuel tax is 31 cents per gallon. If both were temporarily blocked, that would save people 49 cents a gallon, but I don't think they'll do it. Now, I told you yesterday, the Biden administration is considering buying gas from Venezuela, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. It's come out today through the Wall Street Journal that both Saudi Arabia and the United Arabs of Emirat have rejected phone calls with President Biden. They say they just don't want to talk to him. Biden is even trying to have a conversation with Marxist leader Maduro in Venezuela. And Venezuela has publicly said if the U.S. will lift all its heavy sanctions against Venezuela, we could get cheap oil to the United States very quickly. President Biden said yesterday that he hasn't done anything to make the price of gas go up. It's all Putin's fault. He said the fact is there are 9,000 open drilling permits, but U.S. oil companies won't take advantage of them, to which oil companies said they're in terrible locations. And the good ones are being held up in court, and your administration admitted it. You can look that up. All of the best oil wells right now are tied up in litigation at the court level. Now, it's hard to know who's telling the truth about oil, but at the end of the day, it's all going to hit us right in the wallet. And I mean, this is really going to be damaging to the middle class, lower income families, and those of you that are on fixed income. So I hate to be the one to share this bad news. I look for good news every day, but this is the reality that we are all living with. Now, CNN, you know I love CNN as a source of truth. They said Americans are going to be just fine, that they can afford to pay higher gas prices to help out the people of Ukraine. And in fact, late night host Stephen Colbert said, paying a couple bucks more is a fair trade for a clean conscience. He said he didn't care if gas was $4 a gallon. Heck, he'd be willing to pay $15 a gallon. What does he care? He drives a Tesla. These are his own words. Look it up. Now, I love when people that make $16 million a year and have a net worth of $75 million tell the rest of us we can afford the rising price of gas. Isn't that nice? Man, they should have an award ceremony where they pat themselves on the back for all this unsolicited advice. Can you afford $10 to $15 a gallon? Do you have the money to buy a $150,000 Tesla? If not, I don't know that what Stephen Colbert says is really relevant to anyone in the country except the elite and those in Hollywood. All right, now based on the comments you leave, I don't think most of you can handle these price increases. It's going to put a tremendous strain on your budget. So I'll be looking for ways to share ideas with you on how to save money. Maybe make your dollars stretch a little bit further. Some good investments that could help grow your money better than a bank. Biden said he will release another 30 million barrels of oil from the strategic reserve, but didn't say how much of that 30 million would be sold to other countries and how much of it would be used to help American citizens. Last time he released, about 37% of that oil was sold to other countries. It didn't even benefit us here at home. Now, regarding the Build Back Better bill, Democrats have until September or maybe early October to pass this bill. It is expected Republicans will take the House and possibly even the Senate in the 2022 election. If they do, that means Democrats have about 6 months to pass all of their biggest wants and desires before they lose power in the government. One election specialist said this and wanted to remain anonymous. He said, "We were just hoping Americans would forget the Afghanistan pullout by the election. I don't know how we're going to get them to look the other way with these ridiculously high gas prices." I don't know how you're going to do that either. Every time we fill up, we feel it in our wallet. Gas prices, food prices, and inflation will likely decide the winner of the 2022 election. Right now, there's only 2 Democrats that support drilling more oil and creating more energy here in the United States. That's Senator John Tester and Senator Joe Manchin. On the Republican side, it seems 100% of Republicans are in favor of drilling and fracking here at home in order to lower the prices. So just such a difference in thinking when it comes to the 2 political parties. This is probably why they say John Tester and Joe Manchin are dinos, right? Democrats in name only, because they seem to think more like Republicans, I guess. By the way, thank you guys so much for giving this video a like. It helps me out. I really appreciate it. Now, this is my update for today. As I know more, I will definitely come on and share more with you. Before you go, make sure to look in the video description where you can sign up to be one of the 200 winners of cash, hats, and shirts that Casey and I are giving away as a way of saying thank you so much for being in our community. Also, follow that link right now. Go save yourself some money on insurance with Policy Genius. They're an amazing company, and I'm so grateful to have been working with them for over a year now. Now, before you go, I just want to remind you that you are amazing. Never, never, never link your self-worth to government policy, or else you'll be disappointed. Hey, I appreciate you being in my community, and I'll see you on the next video.